Looking for cheap broadband with fast download speeds? Many people don't know this, but you can still get fast broadband for less than £25 a month if you know where to look. In this video, we've taken a look at 5 of the best broadband deals in the UK that cost less than £25 a month while still offering super fast download speeds. So in terms of value for money, our video sponsor, 3Home Broadband, is probably the best choice on the market at the moment. Honestly, even if they weren't sponsoring this video, we'd still put them number 1 on this list. Currently, their 5G hub home broadband deals cost just £21 a month, while still offering advertised download speeds of 150 megabits per second. But from our testing, we were able to get 300 to 500 megabits on a pretty consistent basis, making 3 the cheapest widely available broadband provider on the market at the moment on a cost per megabit basis. Rather than using Fibre broadband, 3 sends you a 5G router or a 4G router if you can only get 4G broadband at your address. Then the router takes a SIM card, which is included by 3 when you buy and comes with unlimited data. Then once you insert the SIM card into the router, it connects to the 4G or 5G network, just like your phone, and it creates a Wi-Fi hotspot you can use to get online, just like a normal Wi-Fi router. This means getting set up is really easy. You don't need to book in an engineer visit, you just put the SIM in the router, plug it in, and turn it on. You can get these sorts of speeds even if you don't have Fibre broadband at your address, as long as you have 3 5G signal. And if you can only get the 4G hub, your speeds won't be as good, but they should still be 30 to 40 megabits per second, which is pretty good considering the monthly cost you're paying. 3's 5G and 4G broadband deals have no upfront fees, and there's also a 30-day return policy. This is because the exact speeds you'll get from mobile broadband can be a bit unpredictable. So with this return policy, you can test out the router and see what its speeds and Wi-Fi performance are like, and return it within 30 days if you're not happy. The main downside to wireless broadband compared to Fibre broadband is your latency will be higher, normally in the region of 40 to 50 milliseconds, instead of the 10 to 15 milliseconds you'll normally get when using Fibre. For most people, this won't affect you at all, but it can be an issue if you like to play ping-sensitive online games, like Fortnite, Counter-Strike, and that sort of thing. In saying that though, we've tested the 5G hub when gaming, and found it performs really well, especially when you're plugged into the router with an Ethernet cable. Our ping was a bit high compared to Fibre, but it was still really consistent, and offered a good experience, with no lag spikes, dropouts, or anything like that. Make sure to click the link in the description to come to the 3Home Broadband coverage checker and see if you can get their 4G or 5G internet service at your address, and to find out what deals they're offering when you're watching this. If you don't mind paying a bit more and want Fibre broadband for a cheap price, the next provider we'd look at is Vodafone. They can be a bit of a complex broadband provider, with lots of different packages and plans to choose from. But if you're on a budget, it's this basic one on the left you want to look at. Vodafone's basic plans start from just £24 a month, with a 73 megabit download speed, which is really good value for money, compared to other similar Fibre broadband providers. Despite being a cheap plan, Full Fibre 74 still comes with a Wi-Fi 6 router, which isn't the case with most other cheaper providers, like NOW Broadband or PlusNet. You can even get a cheaper price than £24 a month if you're a Vodafone pay monthly mobile customer, and the price might be even lower than this if you can get City Fibre broadband at your address. This postcode we've checked here only has OpenReach available, but Vodafone offers cheaper prices when they can deliver service using the City Fibre broadband network, available in certain areas, such as Wolverhampton as an example. Plus, if you don't mind paying a tiny bit more, you can get 150 megabits per second for just £25 a month, or just £23 a month if you're a Vodafone pay monthly mobile customer. Make sure to click the link in the description to the Vodafone Broadband coverage checker to see what speeds they offer at your address, and to find out what deals they're currently running. Another cheap Fibre broadband provider, sort of similar to Vodafone, is NOW Broadband. In comparison to Vodafone, NOW Broadband is a lot more basic. They only have these 3 deals to choose from. There aren't any ultra-fast 900 megabit or 500 megabit per second options, and they don't have much in the way of add-ons like Vodafone does, with their Wi-Fi extras, TV add-ons, and that sort of thing. But because they're so basic, NOW Broadband is slightly cheaper than Vodafone on their slowest plan, offering 75 megabits for just £23 a month with no upfront fee. Most of the time, Either NOW Broadband or Vodafone Broadband are the cheapest fibre broadband providers in the UK that are widely available throughout most of the country. So if you want to save as much money as possible, click the link to the NOW Broadband and Vodafone Broadband websites in the description to see which is offering the cheapest deals when you're watching this. There is a downside to NOW Broadband though, and a reason why we normally recommend Vodafone over them, even when Vodafone is more expensive. The first issue is, NOW Broadband's router is worse than the one Vodafone ships you. It's this Sky Hub here, and it doesn't come with Wi-Fi 6. You can choose to add on the Sky Max Hub later on in the checkout process, but this massively blows out the monthly cost, and probably isn't a good idea if you're on a budget. The bigger issue with NOW Broadband though is their customer service. According to this report from Ofcom, NOW Broadband currently gets the most complaints of any major British broadband provider on a per customer basis. So if you're concerned about getting good customer support, Vodafone is a much better fibre broadband provider to choose. If you live in Greater London and want cheap broadband, Community Fibre is definitely worth looking at. They're an independent broadband provider that has their own network, completely separate to BT Openreach, Virgin Media, or any other broadband network in the UK. And currently, they offer 150 megabits per second for just £21 a month at the moment. And unlike Three, Vodafone and NOW Broadband, they don't increase your prices mid-contract. There's no setup costs, you get a Wi-Fi 6 router included, and the download and upload speeds are symmetrical, meaning your upload speeds are the same as your download speeds, rather than being lower like they are with most other full fibre broadband providers. Community Fibre's customer service is also really good, and they even offer up to 3 gigabits per second for less than what 900 megabits per second costs with most other providers like Virgin Media. The only downside to Community Fibre is their limited availability. They just cover London and surrounding areas at the moment. So if you're in that area, make sure to click the link in the description and put in your postcode on the Community Fibre website to see if you can get their broadband service at your address. YouFibre is similar to Community Fibre in that they're a smaller, independent provider only available in certain areas, except their coverage is spread out a lot more around the entire country instead of just being focused on Greater London. They're a bit more expensive than Community Fibre, starting at £24 a month for 150 megabits, but there's no setup fees, no mid-contract price rises, and you get symmetrical download and upload speeds. The default contract is just 18 months, which is pretty short compared to the 24 months that most other providers make you lock in for, and you can even choose a no contract option, which very few other providers offer at the moment. Although if you do this, the monthly cost becomes a lot higher. And it's also worth mentioning, YouFibre's speeds are kind of crazy, going up to 7,000 megabits per second if you don't mind paying £100 a month, making them the fastest widely available fibre broadband provider in the UK at the moment. So similar to Community Fibre, if you can get their broadband deals, YouFibre is definitely worth looking at, whether you're on a budget or you want the fastest broadband in the UK. So click the link in the description to come to their website and see if you can get their service at your address using their coverage checker. So ultimately, broadband for less than £25 a month does exist, but it can be a bit hard to find. 2 of the 5 providers we've looked at are only available in certain areas, and while NOW Broadband is widely available, they let down a bit by their customer service. So we think, if you want fast download speeds, the first thing we check is the 3 5G hub. It's the only way to get 300 megabits or more, from our testing at least, for less than £25 a month, that's widely available throughout the UK. So make sure to click the link in the description to the 3 website and use their coverage checker to see if you can get their 5G home broadband at your address. And if you just want fibre broadband and don't mind having slower download speeds and paying a bit more for them, Vodafone is your best choice. So we've also linked to their deals in the description. So thanks for watching, and if you're unsure which provider to choose, or you have any questions about buying broadband, leave us a comment under this video and we'll respond as soon as we can.